What's going on, everybody? Today is a special day. Today is my deceased grandmother's heavenly birthday. She was born on March 15th, 1936, and today would have been her 90th birthday. The reason why I'm celebrating her on today because she was a living legend for those that don't know. So she hails out of Berbice, Guyana. She was born and raised there. She comes from a family of 15 siblings. So she was one out of the five girls, and it was 10 boys. My great grandmother had 15 kids. So, they wasn't watching much TV. Okay. And she was raised in a time in the silent generation where you were seen and not heard. But one thing I would say about that generation, they had grit. And that's one thing that she had for sure. So, one fun fact that I will share about her, because every year, by God's grace, I will come on here and share a fact. So, my grandmother husband died at a young age. She was a widow at like 40 something years old. And at that time, she took it upon herself with her four children and paved a way for her life and made it to America to make an imprint in this country, to let people know that she came, saw, and destroyed what the enemy thought he had planted for her family. I say all that to say that she was a businesswoman. She had an entrepreneurial spirit. The Bible says in Proverbs 13, verse 22, that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So her grit of her starting her own business fell onto me because it gave me the entrepreneurial spirit and power to go forth and do things with the same grit and measure she did. So you're like, all right, Marcy, you saying all that sounds good, but what did she do? I'm glad you asked. So she started her own business out in Little Caribbean in Brooklyn, New York, on 908 Utica Avenue back in the 90s, where they sold cosmetics, t-shirts, and things of that nature. We sold it all out to the Caribbean community amongst the Americans, of course. And that was done for probably like a little bit over a decade. In the early 2000s, the family, we shut down the storefront and we started doing street vending about like a block away between Utica, between Church and Snyder. And we spent literally 20 years in that community serving the same things, the perfumes, the bags, the clothes, and people bought them at high numbers. My grandmother, my uncle, literally my mom, like literally even myself, we all was out there hustling to make a dollar. Two for five, Avon, Avon. The devil was a lot. Oh, we hustled. Like she was like 2 for 5, 2 for 5. Like one thing about her, she was a saleswoman. Like she was gonna get the business. Nothing was gonna stop it. She said 2 for 5. How much you want? 5 for 7, 5 for 7. How much you want? How much you want? Like we are well known in that community. Like if you show someone in that community her picture, believe me, they know who she is. And why I harp on why is that an inheritance to me? Because when I worked in the banking field, that I have a 14-year career that recently ended, I was number one in my company, not once, not twice, but three times. I won in sales twice in my company. And one of the times that I won, I was number one in the whole of Metro New York for sales. Why did I mention myself in this? Because I didn't get that grit off my own. That came from my grandmother, Cicely Dodson, that was once here. The ability to push beyond measure, to do things that people wouldn't necessarily want you to do. She spoke for herself when no one wanted her to speak. She always kept her fire and her vigor. And that allowed her to transcend in America over the last 45, 50 years. So, what I want you to know today that March 15th, 1936 marks the day of Cicely Dodson, a woman that came, saw, and draw. She was not perfect. She did not cross every T and dot every I, but she knew what she had to do to make it. And she was going to do just that. So listen, thank you so much for watching. I love you guys with the love of the Lord. And remember, your liberty, your faith, and your love always and will forever come from God. See you in the next one. Deuces.